Do you ever feel like there is too much to learn about marketing? Like it's hard to keep up, or it's just overwhelming to try and make sure that you have everything that you need to know in order to generate leads and prospects and sales and customers and profits? Well, if so, you're not alone. Today is Mailbox Monday, and that's the weekly episode dedicated to answering your questions about copywriting, marketing, business building, entrepreneurship, and more. I'm Roy Furr, this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, and today's question is from Carlos. Carlos says there's too much scattered information about marketing, too much to learn, different strategies, tools, and software that overwhelm, and in the end, some do not work. If only there was a way. If only there was a way, a simplified process to generate qualified prospects and convert them into customers, a flexible system that saves time, effort, and money. And I know that's not quite worded as a question, but I asked for biggest question or challenge. And if you have a question or a challenge you'd like me to address in an upcoming Mailbox Monday episode, check out the link in the description to ask Roy your question. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get more content like this delivered to you in the future. With that, let's dive in.
These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough.
Okay, today's episode is sponsored by me. As usual, I want you to check out the link in the description. This one is to Irresistible Offers. Now, this is going to seem more and more relevant as we go through this episode. There's a link in the description to my training on Irresistible Offers, designing offers for maximum sales and profits. And it's part of the BTMSinsiders training library. So you pay one low monthly fee, you get instant streaming access to this and a whole ton of training. And what I will say is the stronger your offer is, the easier this whole marketing thing becomes. So check out the link to Irresistible Offers. And let's dive into the answer to Carlos's question. So basically, Carlos is saying, I want this simplified process to generate qualified prospects and convert them into customers. And we need to start from a foundation here, because with the right foundation, this becomes so much easier. See, a lot of people, when they get into marketing, and this is also the way that marketing knowledge is sold to you. Marketing knowledge is sold to you like, I have this hot tactic. There's this new technology and I'll teach you this tactic to make it profitable. Or there's this new platform and I'll teach you this tactic to make it profitable. And that's really appealing to the lizard brain part of us that just wants a quick fix, that doesn't want to have to think for ourselves, that wants to just, get the results without any work. But the reality is, the more that you focus on those tactics, those superficial details, the more confusion there is going to be, and the harder you're going to find to make marketing work for you consistently through time. So I have this model that I use that is kind of the foundation for how I teach this. And I call it the architecture of, it started as an article called the Architecture of A-list copywriting skills, but the reality is it could be marketing skills, it could be any skill. This is how we learn skills. So imagine a pyramid, right? And a pyramid has this gigantic base at the bottom that supports everything up at the top. And of course, looking up at the top of the pyramid, okay, it's cool. There's the top of the pyramid that's way up in the sky. It's awesome, whatever, put a shiny gold cap on it and it's even cooler, right? That's the tactics. Up on the top, that top of the pyramid is the tactics, right? And ultimately, that is where the work has to be done, but that is also the least influential part of making that pyramid this gigantic, amazing thing. If you just put the top of the pyramid on the ground, it's there's a little, triangle on the ground, right? I guess it's still a pyramid shape, but it's not as exciting as if you're able to build this massive pyramid, right? So underneath your tactics, supporting your tactics, are techniques. So tactically, I use headlines a lot because headlines are super obvious for this. Tactically, there is a how-to headline, right? You write how to achieve whatever. Maybe tactically you add a without. So without whatever negative assumption that somebody has about this, right? There's this tactical how-to headline, right? So the technique that supports that is you need an attention-getting headline that conveys a benefit and offsets objections. Okay, so the techniques that we're using to create that tactical headline is attention-getting headline that conveys a benefit and offsets any objections. Okay, cool. The strategy behind that, so underneath, so we had tactics at the top, then we have techniques, and then we have strategies. And remember, everything else goes higher when you have stronger support at the bottom. Okay, so the strategy supporting the techniques is that you need to have a strong introduction to your message in order to get readership, right? And so then that strategy of needing the strong introduction relies on the strong technique of how you write a headline, relies on a strong tactic of the headline that you write, like in order to get fully implemented. But still, it's the strategy that is more foundational than the techniques and tactics. And underneath strategies are principles. And I know that this is like, okay, Roy, I thought you were going to make this all simple, right? It gets simple when you have the right model to follow. So underneath this, the strategy is the principle of you need to make the attention sale first. You need to make the attention sale first. You're not going to get response to your marketing if you don't have someone's attention. And so that sets up the strategy of we need a strong introduction to our message, sets up the technique of the specific things you're going to use within the headline, sets up the tactic of using that how-to headline. But the principle, the underlying principle is you need to make that attention sale first. And so oftentimes those principles are the things that are learned after 1, 2, 3 decades in the business, right? And the things that pros focus on and novices are like, that's too simple. That's too like, oh, that's not up to date with the latest whiz bang TikTok, customer acquisition funnel, whatever, right? But that's where you get confused. It's in this million tactics, million techniques, right? But if you focus on the principles, first, okay, where can we get the attention of our qualified prospects, and how can we get the attention of our qualified prospects? Okay, now we're talking. That is a fundamental principle that hasn't changed in 100 years, probably not in 1,000 years, probably won't change for another 1,000 years. You will make your entire career on your ability to successfully apply the principle of getting the attention of your target market. Okay, cool. So before we could get into how do we simplify all of marketing, we have to say that we are focusing first and foremost on what are the foundational principles and strategies at play that can then be applied across all these techniques and tactics that are the confusing, superficial details, right? What's the deep stuff? The deep stuff is the principles and strategies. So now we have that foundation laid. Now let's talk about the principles to generating prospects and converting customers. The principles to generating prospects and converting customers. Okay, really I'm going to share 4 things. Principle number 1, find an audience. Find your who. This is a specific group of identifiable people that you are going to serve. That is your audience, your customer base. And it's not everybody. If you try to make your offer for everybody, you're going to struggle. If you try to make your offer for a specific group of people, you will be much more likely to be successful. So find an audience that has a need. They have a need. So this need could be, I often call it a problem, right? And it's an easy reference to call it a problem. It could also be an unfulfilled desire. The more urgent that need feels to them, the better. The more likely it is that you're going to make a lot of money from this group of who's with this urgent problem. If you find a group of who's with an urgent problem that they have not solved yet, and that that the urgency pushes them to desire to get a solution, even if they have to spend good money on it, well, you have done most of your marketing work already. Then, okay, so we found an audience, the who, that has a need, the problem. That's number 2. And number 3 is we make an offer to fill it. We provide a solution. That's why we use problem, right? So we make an offer to fill the problem. or to solve the problem, right? They have a need, we're going to fill it. They have a problem, we're going to solve it. So if we know who we're going after, we know what urgent problem they have, we know our clear solution, the more believable, the better in terms of presenting it, but we need a clear solution to that problem. Man, most of our marketing work is done at this point, and we haven't even talked about like the superficial tactics of marketing, because so much of this is about identifying there are these people who need the thing that we are now offering, right? And then that gets us to number 4. So we found an audience, the who, that has a need, the problem, and we've made an offer to fill it, the solution, through communication, the medium. And that's where we start to get into the techniques and tactics and the presentation and the copy and all of that. But if you say, I have a solution, which is I made up a product that I like, and I'm going to write an ad for it, but it's not based on a good who, and it's not based on a urgent need, then many times that's where the best intended products and businesses fail, is they come up with a solution to a problem that nobody actually wants to solve or nobody is willing to pay to solve, and they start to promote it, and it turns out nobody wanted it. You need to figure out that you have an audience first that has a need and make an offer to fill it through communication. And when you do that, then it is a natural process. It's just a conversation that takes place to actually to generate those prospects and to turn prospects into customers. You just communicate. You walk them down the garden path to realizing that you have the solution to their problem. And you do that through various types of communication. So, man. So the X factor in marketing success here, and we'll get into that walking them down the garden path thing in a minute, but the X factor in marketing success is that you must have an irresistible offer. You must have an irresistible offer. You must have something that people want to buy. And it should match the audience need, and it should solve the problem or provide a benefit, right? Like, so they have this problem, they have this urgent need, they have this, and they want to have it solved, right? They want the benefit. They want whatever it is. Like the desire exists in the marketplace, and you have created the offer that fulfills that desire. And when you do that, the process of marketing, all the tools and techniques and tactics, you just ask, is this serving my ability to communicate with my target audience, my who, that I'm able to solve their problem, right? Is this solving my problem of needing to speak to my who? And if it's not, then it's not something you need to worry about. And if it helps you, then you focus on, okay, I need to put my message in front of my who, that I have the solution to their problem. And that's the fundamental principles and strategies behind marketing at like this high level. What I will say is, start talking about offers here. And the automatic assumption is my offer is that I'm running a back to school sale, right? My offer is that I'm running a 50% off, buy one, get one free back to school sale or something, right? Offer is not equal. The word offer is not equal to something that they pay for. What I will say is, in terms of marketing, especially when it comes to generating leads and prospects, offer does not necessarily mean they're giving me money. It is anything that you provide in exchange for something that they give you, right? And so oftentimes, long before there is an exchange of money, there is a free offer to get that prospect, to get that lead. And then eventually there will be a paid offer to get customers. Either way, you have to give them value. But like the free offer can be something like, hey, I will give you this free download, or I'll give you access to this video in exchange for your email address so that I can continue communicating with you. And access to that video, well, that video on one level is a solution or promises a solution to their problem for the right who, right? And the message that's communicated is, hey, if you're this who, I have the solution to your problem, right? And that can be in the form of a free like lead magnet, whatever. It can be in the form of a free consultation. It can be in the form of all sorts of things. It can be, something that you just sign up for. It can be whatever, right? It's a free offer to get the prospect, to get the lead. And then there is a paid offer to get customers. And that's what you're more familiar with. Like, oh, we're running this sale and it's this. And if you give us money, you're going to get the thing, right? The point is that the idea of an offer is really just something to get them to take some desired action. And so all the way up until this point, if you're struggling with marketing because you've been chasing tactics and techniques and technologies and platforms and media choices and the latest guru's whiz-bang can't fail methodology, right? And you've run into situations where your marketing doesn't work, well, I want to share with you 4 reasons why your marketing doesn't work. And this might feel a little repetitive. But we are coming back and we're circling the same ideas over and over again, because when we do that, it's going to help you understand how simple this really is. It's going to understand how much you can simplify your thinking around this process to make you more effective. And in fact, when you focus on the fundamental principles and strategies and you've simplified your thinking, it does allow you to create much more sophisticated and sometimes complex marketing systems, because you recognize, okay, we're using a TikTok funnel because we can find our who on TikTok, and we're using YouTube funnel because we can find our who on YouTube, and we're using a Facebook funnel because we can find our who on Facebook, and we're driving each of those to slightly different but comparable email follow-up sequences that are doing this, and then there's a sales team that touches base with them here, and all of these different things that feel sophisticated, but still ultimately it is about choosing a media in which to convey your message to your who that you have the solution to their problem. So the 4 reasons your marketing doesn't work is you don't know who your market is. If you're speaking to the wrong who, if you don't know who your who is, if you're not targeting your who with your marketing, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle a lot. And chasing TikTok because TikTok is the latest fad, or chasing YouTube because YouTube's the latest fad, or chasing Facebook, or chasing whatever because you need to be on these platforms, that's baloney. Do these platforms provide you advantageous access to your who? That's the question. And so if you know who your market is, then you can say, is my market there? And in a lot of cases, yeah, but then you have to be specific. How can I reach them on that platform? How can I reach my who through whatever thing you're offering? I have people constantly contacting me, telling me that I need to have IG reels and TikTok reels and all of that. And it's like some guru out there, I am sure, is selling people on this create Instagram and TikTok reels for people who are, posting on YouTube, whatever. And they're not communicating to me, oh, I can find your audience on TikTok in this way, and let me help you put this message that I know is a fit for that audience in front of them, right? And so if you don't know who your market is, it doesn't matter if you're chasing the latest platform, right? The second reason your marketing doesn't work is you're not targeting a pressing need, as my friend Perry Marshall calls it, a bleeding neck. If that need is not strong enough, right? Like, you don't need an emergency room for someone who got a splinter. It's really rare the person who's going to need to go to the emergency room for a splinter. But if somebody has like an artery chopped open and they've wrapped it up enough to stop the bleeding and they got the tourniquet on, they need to be in the emergency room or they're going to be dead, and they're willing to pay whatever to get the emergency room care, right? And so if you're not targeting that pressing need, that bleeding neck, if there's not sufficient motivation for them to solve whatever problem you're promising to solve, well, you're going to struggle to move them through the sales process. The third reason your marketing doesn't work is you don't have a compelling or believable solution. Okay, so you have this problem, right? You have this problem that you are trying to solve, but your solution to it is not believable. Your solution to it is not compelling. You're promising like, oh, I'm going to give you a better, I'm going to give you a better deck chair on the Titanic, right? It's not compelling, right? I'm going to give you a speedboat with a gigantic gas tanks that also has an iceberg-proof hull to get you off the Titanic and get you to New York City. Okay, that's a more compelling solution, especially with the believability elements of the iceberg-proof hull on your speedboat. I don't know, just playing with some ideas there, but the point is you need to have a compelling and believable solution that is also feels part of what makes it compelling is that it's different than everything that they've tried. So if you come along and you have a Me Too offer in a marketplace where a bunch of other people have provided, I don't know, let's say intermittent fasting weight loss, right? Well, if you are the 583rd intermittent fasting weight loss offer in the marketplace and they've already tried 582, that's not a compelling alternative solution. So you need to come up with a stronger alternative solution to them that is compelling and believable. The fourth reason that your marketing doesn't work is that you're not engaging them through media. Engaging them in whatever way you need to move them the next step towards the purchase event. So if they're on TikTok and you need to engage them on TikTok, you probably look at what is engaging on TikTok and you engage them in a way that gets them perhaps to a landing page to opt in, or what's engaging on YouTube that gets them to click the link so that they go to your page and they opt in. And then what's engaging on that page to get them to take that action. And then on the next page, whatever that action needs to be, what's engaging on that page to get them to take that action. All the way up through whatever the final purchase decision is. How do you engage them through media? And how do you engage them in this specific media that pulls them along to the next step in the process? And when you do that, and you're speaking to the right people and you're offering to solve a problem that they want to have solved, it's fairly simple. Okay. And as you can see, like we can easily adapt this to TikTok. We could adapt it to Reddit or to LinkedIn, or we could adapt it to offline. We could adapt it to postcards. We could adapt it to wherever we want. We just figure out how do we engage them through this media, making sure that this who is who we need to be speaking to, that we're speaking about the problem that we are able to solve, that they want to have solved, that they're willing to pay to have solved, and we're presenting a compelling and believable solution to that problem. And then for you, like taking all of this that we've just covered, and geez, we're 23 minutes deep, you have to define your conversion architecture for your business, for your sales process, for your offers, for whatever it is, right? And so the sales process can vary a lot. And the sales process that starts on TikTok may look very different than the sales process that starts as a direct mail postcard, right? May look very different than the sales process that starts in an IT trade show. May look very different than the sales process that starts on a Facebook, like in a Facebook group or something, right? So the sales process can vary a lot. But in general, what you're doing is you're trying to get the prospect to, you're building a conversion architecture that is designed to get the prospect to move from one step to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And if it's a long sales process, there can be a lot of steps. Especially like, if it's like a corporate sales process, there's purchasing department, all of that, and you can expect slow movement. And what you're gonna need through the course of that is lots of offers to re-engage them. And when I say offers, remember it can be, hey, would you be interested in seeing the latest case study that we have from a customer who's like you, right? Or who's in your industry. Okay, cool. Let me send that to you. So we're re-engaging the conversation. We're moving them from prospect towards the purchasing event. And so you just need to define, like in the context of my sales process, what are all the individual actions that I need someone to take, and how can I get them to take this next action and this next action and this next action and this next, and all the way down the line until they have given you money and become the full-on customer and all of that. And even if you have a short sales process, let's say you have like super simple, like e-commerce, visible, visual, something that's really obvious that can be presented in a way where there's not a ton of copy involved, there's not a ton of decision-making steps, there's one decision-maker. Well, still there are actually maybe lots of steps that just have to be condensed. So for example, there's the initial view of the ad, and that has to translate into a click. And that click has to translate into, maybe you have an advertorial page as an interstitial because of limitations of the ad platform. And so you have an advertorial that talks about this product and maybe is positioned as kind of a review, a consumer review, and it links through to the product, and it talks about, okay, there's a limited number in stock, and the company says that they won't be getting any in for a while, but if you go to this page and there's still supply available, you could grab it quickly and there's a discount, etc. And then that takes them through to the actual e-commerce product page, and that has the offer information on it, and that takes them through to the checkout process, and that does something to actually get them to finalize the offer. And so it's set up for a very fast movement through that. And all those clicks could take place in a matter of, a couple minutes. But still, each next action requires a reason why. It requires some level of offer, right? Some kind of benefit of going to the next step, right? And it's still fundamentally the same thing. How am I using this current media to speak to my specific target audience? Talking to them about the problem or whatever desire that they have that they want to fulfill, this need, right? This bleeding neck situation, and presenting them with a legitimate solution to that, right? And so you just have to sit down and say, what is my conversion architecture for this campaign, for this, for whatever it is, right? And you define that. And anything that serves that conversion architecture, anything that serves your who, your problem, your solution, and your media choice, then you do it. And anything that doesn't, the 1,000,001 marketing gimmicks that are sold to you, either in the form of software or some system or whatever, those 1,000,001 marketing gimmicks, you can write them off unless they are serving your core process that you define. And again, all along the way, having an irresistible offer every step of the way, a good reason why for them to take that next step is essential. And it is essential that you check out my Irresistible Offers training. The link is in the description. And don't forget, you can also check a link in the description to ask me your question to have it answered on an upcoming Mailbox Monday episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, which is what this show is called. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I am Roy Furr. Every day, I'm here trying to help you increase your marketing genius. I hope that I've done that here. Jeez. Whew. Man, we took quite a whirlwind tour, but if you focus on these fundamental principles, this is how you become a marketing genius. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get even more genius advice like this, and I will catch you again in the next episode. See you soon.
Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.